What's up guys, CalebBegs01 back again for another random horror review while also continuing my Morgue 200 alternative horror movie challenge. I know some of you guys are probably not into that challenge that I'm doing, which is fine, but hopefully you guys are still enjoying the random horror reviews, which obviously are still going. I'm still doing them, but for those who are following the challenge, you might know that I'm a couple of movies behind, purely because I was waiting for this one to come in the mail for so long. And it is Captain Kronos, Vampire Hunter from the year 19, I think it's 74, yep, 74. It is a Hammer horror film. I'm not overly familiar with too many classic Hammer horror films. I've seen a handful of them, and I'm aware of most of them, but this is one that I completely never heard of before this challenge, and the title of the movie, Captain Kronos, can sort of make you go, ugh, but nah, this movie's fucking gangster, I'm not gonna lie, this movie was so much fucking fun. It's a pretty simple plot, we'll get into it. So, we have our main character, Captain Kronos, who goes around and obviously hunts and kills vampires. It's not just him, he has his sidekick slash best friend, who's, I believe his name's like, Ghost or something. He's cool, he's a cool cat too. And then early on the film, they save this girl, I guess, and she tags along with them as well. And I guess that's sort of Kronos' love interest. That's her laying there. Anyway, and they go around hunting and killing vampires. That's their whole deal, obviously. But in this story, we mainly focus on this town who a lot of young women are going missing, and then when they're found, they're pretty much drained of their youth and their life, which I thought was a really interesting approach to vampires. I haven't seen that very often. Instead of, obviously, they're drinking their blood, but they're draining them, as I said, of their youth and of their life, and, when they're finding the bodies, they're all decrepit and old, and I thought that was a really cool approach, but anyway, we'll leave the plot there. As I said, pretty simple, and we'll get into my thoughts of this movie now. So as I said, this movie is pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward. Our characters is the first thing I want to highlight. Captain Kronos is a fucking swag drip lord. I swear to God, he's fucking awesome. He's like the coolest cat going around. So it's grossed. This movie is like lovably cheesy. It's like, I can see people being like, what the fuck? But this movie was just so much fun and really likable. There's things that just are so stupid, but they just make you smile. Like, they're laying traps and Ghost pulls out a dead frog from his hat and puts it in the trap. It's like, what the fuck, why would one be there? And even there's a part, they do bring this up in the movie, but a doctor is the one to contact Kronos to bring him to this town. And Kronos is like, oh, obviously you have a vampire problem. And the doctor's like, no, vampires, that's so impossible, blah, blah, blah. He literally called Captain Kronos the Vampire Hunter. Like, that's what he's known for. Like, why call him there if you don't think it's a vampire? Like, and they, as I said, they bring that up in the movie. It's so stupid, but it's, like, so much fun at the same time. As I said, enjoyed their approach to how they go about the vampires in this movie, and the approach of, like, sucking them more of their youth and their life, and I just really like the old person decrepit look that the victims have once they're killed. I thought that was really interesting. And for as I said, a light-hearted movie that is a lot of fun, there actually are some pretty tense scenes, especially the scene with Dr. Marcus and, I think this movie's old enough now, 74. The scene where they're going to put the stake through Dr. Marcus's heart because he's been bitten. I thought that scene was, like, really intense for some reason. That, like, really stuck with me. I thought that was quite cool. There's a lot to like about this movie. For a movie that's pretty fun and all that, there are moments where it still drags. I will be completely honest, but I think that's with most films of the time, and these older films, in points they can drag, they can get a little bit slow, but overall still pretty fun. one thing that I wanted a little bit more was throughout the majority of the movie, I'd say the first at least 2 acts, I wanted more vampire killing, as in, obviously he's called Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter, and that's literally what he's doing for, as I said, the first 2 acts of this movie. It's literally him just hunting down this vampire, as in, like, sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Tracking the vampire. Like, he's more so doing that, and yeah, there's some kills spread out, but they're not very crazy. Not a lot of them have to do with vampires. I thought there was going to be, you know, kill this vampire to get to this vampire to this vampire. It's mostly just tracking the one main vampire that they're focused on in this movie. But that's just me being nitpicky. You know, I still enjoyed the movie for the most part. Yeah, and I've sort of summed up the whole movie there, I guess. Oh, and the ending as well. I thought the ending was a lot of fun. You know, lots of cool sword fights, and yeah, just I thought the ending was actually pretty cool. A little twist in the end. Nothing that I didn't see coming, but still enjoyable for the most part. So with that, let's get to the rating of this movie now. So a short little review for this one today. It was quite easy to sum up. As I said, it's a pretty basic movie, but you can get a lot of enjoyment out of it. I actually enjoyed this one a lot more than what I thought I was going to. As I said, like, when you read the title, Captain Kronos, I'm like, what the fuck? That sounds like the goofiest shit. And I wasn't wrong, it is goofy, but oh my god, it was fucking fun, if I'm being honest. So, with that being said, let's give a rating to this one. Originally I was going to give it a 7, but you know what, because I'm feeling quite generous and this movie had me, you know, pretty engaged the whole way through, I'm going to say 7.5. I'm going to bump it up just a little bit. Definitely one to check out, especially, you know, as I said, for one that's a Hammer horror film, which I don't hear a lot of people talk about. This one was a good time, so I would say recommend. I'd say check out Captain Kronos. Sorry, I got a bit tongue-tied there, but yeah, that was a surprise hit. I actually really did like that one. So again, thank you guys for joining me for another random horror review, and for those guys who are enjoying the challenge, before I forget, the next movie that we'll be doing in the challenge is The Manson Family. I forget what year it's from, but you'll see the review come out, so check out that movie too, guys, and I want to thank you guys again for joining me, and I'll see you guys very soon for another video, hopefully, so peace.